We call in correspondent Wally Ballou at the Detergent Box Derby, Uphill Falls, Oregon.
Ballou at the Detergent Box Derby, as we have reason to believe you've been told that they push these little wagons that they have built themselves up this hill.
Just a correction here, Wally.
Here's Artie Schermerhorn, ladies and
point
gentlemen.
out that rather than mislead the public, all these kids did not build these themselves. They could have help from their fathers. I think that it's probably proper that we mention that, Wally.
Lulu, from my vantage point, a scene of panoramic beauty spread out up ahead of me. And you're right, Artie. And as a matter of fact, looking over these little cars, I would say that in 90% of the cases, the old man made it for the youngster.
Just a correction on your figures. Before we went on the air, Wally, I took time out to check with the chairman of the Derby. He tells me that there were only forefathers, actually, who helped any of these kids.
Well, considering there are only 5 in the race, I would say that was pretty near 90%.
Well, actually, it wouldn't be 90%, you know. If you know your mathematics, Wally, that would be one...
Excuse me just a minute, Artie. I think it's been made known to you now that out of the 5 who started, only 4 are expected to finish. 1 dropped out.
Well, that's true. However, I think I was still correct, Wally, in saying that there were 5 contestants vying for the honors here at the Detergent Box Derby.
Well, at that time, yes. When I said 90% of the contestants' cars had been built by their fathers, there were 5, and I was wrong. But now, actually, 100% of the 4 contestants still in the running cars were built by their fathers. That's all I just wanted to say that, Artie.
Right, and I think probably the term running is wrong, Wally. You know, these are just regular boxes, and there is no motor in them. They're pushed uphill. So
right.
I think when you say
right.
running in the race, I think that's
running
the wrong
I used
term.
as a purely rhetorical phrase.
That's right.
I didn't mean that the cars are running by themselves or under any power from anybody else.
Well, it's just that so long as you're on the air and people would like to know exactly what's going on, I think if you used a better choice of words,
Here's
they probably
a note
would
just
have...
handed to me. It says, get on with the description of this Detergent Box Derby, and I think that's a good idea. Take it away, Artie Schermerhorn.
Thank you, Wally Ballou, for my vantage point. They're now about a third way up the uphill falls. This hill rises about 700 feet. They started, scarcely 40 minutes ago. I would estimate that they have accomplished probably 300 yards. All these little fellas who are pushing...
Just a minute, Artie Schermerhorn. The entire race is only 280 yards. Therefore, they couldn't have accomplished 300 yards at this time.
Now, look, Wally, if you'd care to take just a little time out to take a look at the map that was handed to both of us by the committee here.
I have the map right here.
All right,
Artie.
just take a look at it now. Does that look like 200 yards to you, fella?
It looks like 200, but I'm told it's 280 yards, and I don't think there's any need to argue about it while we're on the air.
I don't think you should. Well, you do. Every time we do a remote broadcast, you try to make an idiot out of me, Wally.
I'm not trying to make any idiot out of you, Artie, any more than you're already doing. When you say that 280 yards is the same as 200 or 300.
Go ahead, Wally.
That's all I have to say from my vantage point.
Oh, that's all you have to say.
Now, instead of a traffic report and stock market thing and all that, we bring you another episode of One Fella's Family. Today's episode, entitled Garage Trouble, is taken from Book V, Chapter II, page 235. As we look in on the family now, we find that Mother...
Well, Fanny, I finally got the rose bushes trimmed.
Well...
Just in time, too. It looks like snow. Yeah.
It's a shame we didn't have one rose this summer, didn't we?
Well, that's what comes of trimming them too close like I did last year.
Well, why don't you let them be?
Yeah.
They're so small now, you prune them almost even with the earth.
I thought I might call up the rose hybridizer to find out just whether I'm doing it right or wrong, Fanny.
I forget what kind of roses those are out there.
Well, they're some kind of
But didn't we have the Reza Stevens rose there one year?
Well, all I can remember is the Ma Perkins rose.
That was a beauty.
Yes. I wonder if we'll get any message from Jack today.
I don't know, but didn't we have a wonderful holiday, though?
Yes, it was a
More
very delightful.
I think of it, and the weekend was following was so exciting.
All of the children were here, Hanky and Panky,
Yes.
Stinky and Blinky,
And Slinky.
and Slinky, the twins. Nice to have the whole family together
Yeah.
for Thanksgiving.
Well, it certainly will be quiet this week. You got a cold coming
No,
on.
it's smoke of some kind, Fanny. Are you smoking, Fanny?
I haven't smoked for a long time.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
This will be a quiet weekend compared to last.
it should be, Fanny, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to put my rose trimmers away.
Well, all right. Well, I'll
Where's
just...
the door to the cellar, Fanny?
It's right over there by the back
Yeah.
entryway.
I think maybe I'll go out and check the garage for trouble.
I think... Where is all this smoke coming from?
It's coming from the garage, Fanny.
Somebody left the radio on with all that fool noise. I'll go turn off the radio.
Yeah.
And you go see if there's any garage trouble.
You've been listening to One Fella's Family. Brought to you instead of a traffic report and a stock market roundup. Stuff like that.
Studio full of smoke.
Today's episode entitled At the Seashore, or rather, Garage Trouble. Which was the episode?
Garage trouble, announcer.
Garage Trouble. It's taken from one of the books that T. Wilson Messy has. I can't read my notes. It's too smoky in here. It's a Messy production.
And once again, hello, ladies. This is your True to Life announcer, Danny.
All right,
sitting
Danny,
in
now,
Aunt Penny's True to Life kitchen. What, Aunt
Dan,
Penny?
I want you to cut it short because the last time you talked so much I couldn't finish my story.
Well, I'd just like a handful of these cookies, Aunt
Well,
Penny.
take 'em, Danny, and dry up.
Now, what's our true-to-life story about today?
Today's story about Ms. and Mrs. Lawrence Hedges.
Aunt Penny, do you
Tonight-
mind if
will
I
you
raise
be-
the shade? It's a little
Oh,
too
Danny, now
sunlight in
don't get going on that shade again. I do want to tell the story about Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence Hedges.
here. All right.
Well, Larry, he was called. He worked for the railroad, and he decided one day that he and the missus would go east. And rather than take the railroad, they thought they'd drive off in their new automobile. This is many years ago, and they had a whippet. And they get in the whippet.
Did that make it go better, Aunt Penny?
Oh, now, Danny, we won't have time for those puns. Now, let me get along with the story. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence Hedges departed from their home in Mason City, heading east in their whippet. Right outside of town was the great coursing river known as the Big Stream. And as they started to cross over the stream...
Say, Mrs. Lawrence Hedges, does this bridge look safe to you?
Yes, it does, Mr. Hedges.
Doesn't to me. It's kind of waving in the breeze, kind of like,
Oh,
Mrs. Hedges.
Don't seem to be waving any more than any other bridge would wave in the breeze.
No, but see how the cables
Keep
seem
your
to be-
eye on the road rather than looking at the cables. If you don't mind, we do want to get east, don't we, to Metropole to visit our neighbors?
I know one thing, though, Miss Lawrence Hedges. I wish we were on the other side of this bridge instead of right in the middle of it. I'd feel a lot safer on dry land than I do here in this automobile driving over this shaky bridge.
Well, do whatever you want to do, Hedges. I don't care. I'll just sit here.
Well, we've come so far, we might as well proceed to the other side, Miss Hedges.
Well, Danny, Mr.
Great
Hedges,
Scott, Aunt
he
Penny.
managed to save himself.
Sounded
He
like the
clung
bridge
on.
gave away. What
The last
happened?
he saw was Ms. Hedges on the top of the whippet going downstream faster than they were going when they were driving it on dry land.
Well, that certainly
He could
was.
swim. Fortunately, he saved himself. And that's about it.
Well, that was a wonderful true-to-life story, Aunt Penny, and I know that all the ladies will be anxious to hear your next one.
Yes, and if Mrs. Hedges is listening, won't you write and tell me how you were saved?
And that's about it, ladies. Time's up, Aunt Penny, and until next time, she says...
If anyone knows how that dear lady ever made out in all that trouble floating down the river and all, I wish they'd let me know.
And this is Danny saying so long, ladies, until next time.
Dry up. What a windbag, honestly.
Your Sanitation Department in action.
My name is Reginald Daddlepoop Jr. My job, keep the city clean. Keep the city's streets clean. Each day, my partner and I pick up garbage and trash that people throw out. One morning last summer, we were rolling down 2nd Avenue in a great big truck. And...
Hey,
Yes, Sam. Oh, Fred.
it's kind of gamey.
Well, it's a warm day. Got your lunch with you?
Yeah, I got it in the glove compartment. Gee, I hate to pick up stuff from a fish market on a day like this.
Boy, this traffic is miserable, isn't it?
We'll
One
be
thing I
eating
hate
fish.
is traffic.
Who'll be eating fish on a day like that?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the fish markets go on and on.
Yeah, it's the hum of a big city, the activity that has to go on to keep the city moving.
Sure like to get back on Grand Central again. Just stabbing papers.
That was a good run, Fred.
Boy.
Remember, I used to get home by 4:30, play with the kids, take a quick dip. Now it's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
The lights used to be staggered along here, didn't they?
Yeah, seems like. Well,
There's a red light here we gotta stop.
it's a stop anyway. Who's
Any
gonna...
garbage today?
It's your
any
turn to
garbage?
heave the barrel, Fred.
Any garbage, sir?
Oh, he doesn't have any garbage. Thing looks empty. Let's
Lights
roll.
turn green. Let's go.
Let's roll.
We must have about half a load by now.
We can't go back with half a load, Ron.
No, the chief would really blow his top.
Here's a trash can. Let's pull up here.
Whose turn is it to hurl the barrel?
I'll jump down. Hey, do you need an umbrella?
What do you mean it's not raining?
No, but it's a pretty good umbrella. It's got
Okay,
one hole in it.
I'll take it.
Sure.
Throw it up here in the treasure box.
You wear 11 and a half shoe, don't you?
No, 9.5.
9 and a half? Any of the kids wear these?
Yeah, my oldest kid does.
Yeah, they're curled up. They've been wet. But they dry out, they'll be okay.
I'll take them.
Sure. Here.
Hey, what's that over there? That looks pretty good.
Tie.
Oh,
But it's the old-fashioned kind, the wide kind.
yeah. No need to wear the wide ones anymore.
No, heck with it.
One thing I like is narrow ties. Narrow ties and horizontal stripes. That's for me. Don't find those in the rubbish cans anymore.
Hey, here's a wicker basket.
It's got a hole in it, too. In fact, it's got no bottom at all, Fred.
Probably grow flowers or something in it.
Yeah, I'm making a nice planter.
Yeah, take it.
Put it in.
Well, let's roll.
And so, once again, your Sanitation Department men, in action, have presented another little-known side of their lives. Be sure and listen to the next episode when we'll hear Fred say,
Are you hungry?
on your Sanitation Department in action. Time now for Sea Search, the stirring adventures of freelance skin diver Lloyd Bricker and his diving partner Lance Spears. Today's episode, titled Perforated Eardrums, takes place near their home base, Catalina Island.
Well, let's hustle aboard the skiff, Lance. We've got 3 other jobs just like this today in different parts of the harbor.
Yeah, there's been a rash of these things lately. It seems like the only kind of assignment we get.
You think a guy who spends $500 to $600 for a new outboard motor would learn how to fasten it on his boat properly?
Yeah, you'd think so. They no sooner get away from the pier than the thing shakes off, sinks to the bottom, and we got to fish for it.
Now, where did the guy say that first one fell off?
Well, he didn't say exactly, Lloyd. Just out near the middle somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Middle of what? The harbor, the bay, the ocean, or what?
I think he said the bay. Said he marked the spot by pouring some oil on the water, like in the submarine pictures.
Well, that'll be a big help. This bay is full of oil slicks, and with the current, it's probably moved some.
We're near the middle. Why don't we try around here? You never know.
Okay, good luck, fella, and you see a shark down there, belt him on the snout with a heavy, blunt object.
Well, it's not my turn. I found the last 5 of these things, and you never even got your toes wet.
Well, never mind the arguing. We've got a busy day ahead, Lance.
Oh, boy, I knew you were going to pull this the minute you showed up on board in your business suit.
This suit helps me make a good impression when I look for freelance diving assignments.
Well, it hasn't helped because I land most of the jobs wearing a T-shirt. How can you expect to get diving work hanging around the track? You got to cover the waterfront.
Look, I cover the waterfront, but that's beside the point. You know, I can't dive in water deeper than 12 feet. The pressure against my perforated eardrums could give me a permanently waterlogged brain, the doctor said.
Oh, you've had that for a long time. If you were a real guy, you'd buy a pair of earplugs. Maybe you're afraid you'd have to dive.
Now, that's not true. You know I've tried to buy them, but they never have them for my size ears.
A pair of sink stoppers would do the job, but you're too particular.
All right, get off my back, will you, buddy? Look, I'll dive on the next job. Now, you know my word is good.
As good as an empty aqualung. Hey, that reminds me, did you remember to put air in the lungs today?
Gee, no, I thought you were going to do it. Boy, is this caper turning into a fiasco. If you were any kind of a guy, you'd dive holding your breath.
You know that if I hold my breath, I get heartburn. That's just like swimming after a big meal.
Yeah. Well, look, I say if a guy's stupid enough to drop his outboard motor in the drink, it's his tough luck.
That's what I say. Let's split. Tune in next time for another exciting sea search story entitled Cockles, Mussels, Alive, Alive-O, when you'll hear Lloyd Bricker say,
Now, listen, Lance. I only said my word is good, not great.
On Sea Search, an El Guco production. Friends, the Bob and Ray Manufacturers Outlet has a special sensational offer today.
Now, this is not to be confused with our usual sensational overstock surplus warehouse.
Well, this is a special chance of a lifetime.
Not to be confused with the ordinary chance of a lifetime we offer you each week.
At our Manufacturers Outlet, you buy directly from the manufacturer.
Now, these remarkable savings are made possible by our extremely low overhead.
At our Manufacturers Outlet, the overhead's so low, you may have to stoop a little.
Now, if you can't come yourself, send a friend.
Preferably a short friend.
And right now, we're having a special sale of all wool suits at the lowest possible price.
These savings are made possible because these all-wool suits come to you directly from the manufacturer.
There's no middleman.
You deal directly with the manufacturer.
When you buy one of these all-wool suits, here's how it works.
You negotiate directly with the sheep.
You see, we have no expensive showrooms, no fancy fixtures.
Just a big sheep shed and a salt lick out of the high-rent district.
That's right, folks. And by doing away with expensive showrooms and fancy fixtures, we pass these savings on to you.
But, of course, you have to pay for these ads which tell you how we keep our costs so low.
And when you drop down to Manufacturers Outlet, ask for our good friend, Generous Joe Sturdley.
You'll recognize him by his snowy white T-shirt and deck sneakers.
And a silly grin on his face.
Here's a man with us who has a story that's practically unbelievable and certainly points up the fact that there are new horizons available today. What's your name, sir?
Frank Liberace.
Well, now, as I understand your story, 2 weeks ago, you were worth somewhere around $150.
Yeah, that's right, counting my jacket and my Geiger counter and my high leather shoes.
Well, there's the tip-off, that Geiger counter, because here is a real-life uranium prospector who this morning tells me he is worth $350 million, all of this within 2 weeks' time. Would you tell us this story, Mr. Liberace?
Yes, last fall, I went down to, in New York, Abercrombie and Fitch.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought a Geiger counter and an outdoor jacket and went up to Canada. And I had about $80 in my pocket. And I got off the train there. I went into the woods, and...
You had never prospected before?
No, I didn't even know how to go about it, and the machine started to tick, and I bought that land, and now I was worth $350 million, 11 o'clock Eastern Time.
That's 15 minutes ago.
Oh, I'm worth $4 now.
$4 million?
Yes.
$50 million in that short time. Well, how does it feel to be such a wealthy...
It feels very good.
I'll bet it does.
Yes.
And have you made any plans for how you're going to spend the money?
I'm going to get... one of the first things I want to do is... I want to get a haircut.
Yeah?
And I want to buy some marshmallows. I love them.
Marshmallows? Mm-hmm.
That's right. And I also thought that I would get a shoe shine.
Well, you've certainly figured out every angle, I guess, how you're going to spend your money and everything.
That's right.
Real good story. Thank you very much for telling it to us.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's book review time now, and here is our Bob and Ray book editor, Webley Webster.
Hello again. Literary lovers, everyone.
Webb, that's a big tome you brought with you today.
Oh, what a night I had.
No, I mean that book.
Oh, yeah, well, that's why I'm here. I have been reading what I think is one of the most interesting books I have ever read.
That's so? Who's it by?
By some fella, and it's called Cinderella.
Cinderella, huh?
That's right, recently hit the stands.
Oh, no, you're wrong there. This has been around for a few
Oh,
years.
is that so?
Yes.
Well, I didn't know, but I just read it. The scene that I brought the Webley Webster players along to do is in the 5th chapter.
Mm-hmm.
It's where Cinderella is on a pirate ship, say.
What?
And one of the meanest, crankiest pirates you've ever seen was the captain of this tub.
Well, wait, I read Cinderella once. I saw it in the movies.
Yes, sir.
This is the one about the glass slipper and
Yeah,
everything.
she has a glass slipper and all
Yeah,
that, and the fairy godmother.
Yes,
well,
but mutiny and pirates and things?
Yes. Well, the players are all set to act it out, so go right ahead.
Right.
Matey,
Aye, Captain.
when I yell, I want ye to come right up here.
Well, I came on deck as soon as I could, Captain.
Why, you...
No. Taking it easy,
Now
Captain.
get up off the deck, matey.
Oh, yeah,
You're traveling with me now, you know.
I know that,
You
sir.
want a little respect. How does the sky look? I'll thank ye to tell me right away, matey.
It looks stormy, sir.
Why, you...
No.
I don't want no stormy skies on a night like this, matey.
Well, I don't have nothing to do with the weather, Captain.
Why,
No.
don't want none of that funny talk to me. This is the captain you're talking to, matey.
I know that, Captain. I was only trying to explain why I wasn't been able to do nothing about the weather.
Why, you... Now, what'll a good chef have for us down in the galley tonight, matey?
I think it's beans, sir.
Why,
No.
Oh, you can see that that's an exciting book from cover to cover.
Cinderella.
Cinderella, you look
These
for it,
actors of yours are in a rut, I'll tell you that much.
and it's awful good. You look for it, Cinderella. I couldn't put
Yes.
it down.
Bob and Ray on the music scene now as we bring good news to a lot of you older listeners with memories that go back to the great Irene, Cleming, Getchal Orchestra. Here with us are the McBeeBee twins, and I just want to let you fellas tell us the story because it's a real thrill what you have to say, and I know a lot of music fans will welcome it.
Yes, Bob,
it's
a big thrill for us to be here and to bring you the wonderful news that we
bring.
We have obtained through the executives of the late Irene Cleming Getchal permission to use all her old arrangements and her instruments, bandstands, uniforms, and gowns.
Well, I should think for the McBeeBee twins and their orchestra, this would be a great step in getting back to the music field, although I don't think the gowns would come in handy.
Well, no, but wives can use them. But as you remember, Irene Cleming Getchal was the leading girl orchestra leader back in the swing era.
I sure do. There aren't many people of our age who don't remember the great evenings listening on the radio to that Getchal band and going out to some of the ballrooms and actually dancing to it. She died in 1938, I believe.
Yeah, she was stabbed by a sliding trombone.
trombone. That was during an overseas tour.
Actually, their orchestra was entertaining a few natives out in the Pacific. It was before any war or anything.
Well, now, what instrumentation do you have?
Very interesting,
Bob.
There's a player piano, harpsichord, triangle, two flugelhorns. There are four saxophones, two valve trombones, four double baleuphonians, three Iranians, a tuba.
Sounds interesting, right?
French horn, electric horn, and the electric Russian caviar.
That's certainly a different grouping of instruments. I don't think more than one or two are used in many of the bands. Stan Kenton, I know, has mellophonians, but this should make for a different sound, all right.
The executives have insisted that when we conduct the band, we'll have to hold a glass of champagne.
Just
seems
as
silly.
Miss Getchal
Just
did.
as the way Irene Cleming Getchal always did.
They always did. I remember she used to stand there in front of the... What was that for, do you know?
I think she wanted to get
loaded. Mm-hmm. Well, now, you've got your itinerary lined up for the next few months?
That's right.
That's right.
We started at 2, then we move over to Kiska, then we go south. To Nome, Anchorage, and down to Vancouver, Seattle, southward to Portland, Eugene, Oakland, San Francisco, Modesto, Sherman Oaks, Encino, Van Nuys. Then we take the number 3 bus to Hollywood, where we'll be arrested.
Folks in the West Coast area can look forward to seeing the new McBeeBee Twins Orchestra with the late, great Irene Cleming Getchal arrangements.
The billing has to be the McBeeBee Twins conducting the late Irene Cleming Getchal Orchestra. And their gowns.
Well, it'll be an interesting thing to see. All of your friends will be looking for it. Thank you, McBeeBee Twins.
Thank you very much. Aren't you excited?
Well, it's not going to be long before we're in the midst of political conventions, and as a sidelight to convention news, we thought you might be interested in meeting our next guest. We've asked to drop by today Dr. Sherman Y. Maycroft, who has been hired by one of the parties, and we're not at liberty to mention which one, to give advice to speakers who will be making addresses during convention. Dr. Maycroft, welcome to our Bob and Ray booth.
Well, thank you very much.
I wonder if, first of all, you tell us exactly why you were hired by the party and what you're planning to do.
Well, the reason for my being hired by the party, is to teach the orators, how to speak, eek, when there is no PA system, where they are speaking, ing.
In other words, when they make stops on trains or greet people at unusual places where there are no microphones, no public address system, you teach them to speak so that they will sound as if there is. Is that right?
That's right. Right.
Well, there seems to be quite an art to this. How long have you been doing this sort of thing, and how did you start, Dr. Maycroft?
Well, it all started when I was up at the Yankee Stadium for an old-timers game. One of the sportscasters was standing by second base, ace, and introducing some of the old stars, ours. And it hit me then.
You felt that there was a crying need for someone to train people to talk that way.
I felt that way,
Do you talk this way all the time, Dr. Maycroft?
No, just to emphasize what I teach. H.
Well, would you give us just a little sample of the opening lines of a speech after the student has taken your course in public speaking without a microphone?
My dear voters, stirs, when you march, arch to the polls, old, on Tuesday next,
I think we get the idea.
You'll place your ballot.
It's going to be very prominent in the weeks to come. Thank you, Dr. Sherman Y. Maycroft, for being our guest here today.
You're entirely welcome. Come.